Histories and Mysteries hopes that you like and subscribe for more videos like this one that we hope you are about to enjoy. This video is just a snippet of the stories that you will hear if you join us on one of our historical paranormal evenings at the Page House.
Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome to the Page House. How are y'all? Good, everybody good? Good. You've had a sip of an adult libation if you so choose. Don't worry, we're not going to steal them away while we're gone walking through the property. There'll be some left here when we get back. We so appreciate you being out here this evening. Miss Judy, the owner of the Page House, welcomes you to her property. And my name is Sally Toole, and I am in coordination with her to start putting on some fun events. We do a lot of fun stuff. We have a tombstone tour where we go to this house and then to the graveyard where some of the residents are resting peacefully at the cemetery. And we also go in Meriwether County to a house called the Trammell House, which is also a settler's home. So these are some of the two oldest homes in the area. Again, we'll talk about the people that lived and died there, and then I take you to their graves. So it's kind of a fun thing. That's about a half-a-day tour. And for that one, we just stop for a snack along the way wherever you guys choose to go. So that's a lot of fun. So get in touch with either of us if any of these things, or if you've got some wild idea in your head, knowing Judy and I, we'll figure it out. We would probably roll with that as well. So again, welcome. Now, a ghost tour. Tonight, this is not a haunted house. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. No one with a chainsaw is going to come out around the corner. Well, maybe. We don't think so. I mean, any given night. I don't know. My son Mark and his wife Robin are with us tonight. Together, we have been doing ghost tours since about 2008. It's been a long time. So we've been in this kind of thing for quite a while. We've had a few things happen over the years. We can talk about that later on as well. If you got the ghost apps, that's great. Back in the olden days of ghost hunting, we handed out box cameras. Remember those box cameras? Yeah. Well, today, you've got cell phones. Probably the greatest ghost hunting device ever invented would be a cell phone. Feel free to video tonight if you'd like. Feel free to snap lots of pictures. What will you be looking at later? You'll be looking for orbs. And again, when we go inside a little while, I'll share with you some pictures we have of orbs activity that we've had in the past. I love it when a white cat asks gotta be good luck. The orbs. You might be looking for ribbons of energy. Mark years ago was in Ripley's making a scary face, and behind him in a picture was a ribbon of energy and a skull. So we just never know what we might get a picture of. Also, full body apparitions. That happens. You just never know. You just never know. My advice is to snap lots of pictures repeatedly. Boom, 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 boom. Because then but don't focus on your cameras tonight. Snap the pictures later. And if you get anything cool, you better share it with Miss Judy and I on Facebook. Hi guys. We want to see it. Okay, so share everything that you might get. The other thing about snapping lots of pictures is that oftentimes you can snap a lot of pictures and look at the cat. No. I'm sorry, she's clean. I'm getting on the stage. Luna. Yeah, you're getting out the stage.
Luna. She's a fun ghost. Leave her alone.
Oh gosh, that's funny. So snap a lot of pictures because you might get 24 shots at the same angle and one turns out with something in it. So those are a little bit of some tricks that you might want to do. And of course, you are welcome to record as we go. We're going to start by talking about the dirt where we are on. Dates way back, obviously, than the Page House does. And we do want to represent and respect those humans that lived on this piece of dirt. Now, I need you to do a little history lesson in your mind. Get a timeline in your mind of the world's history. We're just United States, barely 300 years, a drop in the bucket. The Native American, the Creek in this area, roamed this piece of dirt and called this home 12,000 years. I always like to let that sink in a minute. 12,000 years. Europeans came here and they wanted the gold and they wanted the land. Who was in their way? The Native Creek Indians. And unfortunately, they were pushed west. 12,000 years they occupied this dirt. Andrew Jackson managed to push them out 40 years. So we've run the Indians out. We're going to do a land lottery. We're going to give all the white men who are coming from Europe, no women, no blacks, just white men. This is the way it was. This is true history. We're going to give them land in a land lottery. The land lottery of 1820 is why this house originally was built. It was built because two men, Richard and Charles Lavelle, say it how you wish, they came here from South Carolina to survey the land. That's what they came here for. And then the land lottery hit in 1820 and people were started to be granted all of this land. Now, when they came here as land surveyors, they were early settlers. Their house would have been very, very simple. Let's sneak in the house. We're going to talk about the beginning of this house, of which we estimate, because they're not really sure, we estimate somewhere around 1827 to 1830, this original part of the house was built.
Was the original part of the house, because once you go upstairs, you'll see the same patch on the floor of the room above. So we believe it was 2 rooms, and there was not even a staircase, like a ladder probably. So this was the original part of Pioneer Cabin.
So take a look at that section of the ceiling and then work your way back over to me. I want everybody to see it, snap a picture of it. Judy wants you to notice, you might want to put your flashlights on so you can see them and see the pictures. We have cat prints across the floor. One of the relatives told Miss Judy, oh, my grandmother always had cats. Well, Judy, okay, great, your grandmother had cats. I have cats, we love cats. When she peeled back several layers of linoleum to get to this cement, there were the cat prints. And the reason that the floor is stenciled with paint, Miss Judy didn't have the heart to cover up those cat paw prints. Of course, though, it's really, really cool. And it's a beautiful floor. She's done a great job. Now, of course, that brings us to the idea of spirit animals. I do believe that after a pet dies, we still have their spirit with us. I know that a beloved cat in our family, I kept feeling that feeling on the bed when a cat gets up and lays with you. We had that for several weeks after we lost one of our most beloved cats. So, oh, you're getting a little action there.
It was like full red.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of red.
A lot of red. Getting a little playful cats happening. All right, get all your pictures. I'm going to show you upstairs. Follow me. Oh, is that what you take all the pictures you like? See if I can find them. At your leisure, take pictures, anything you want, and we'll sneak back down.
This room and the one below are the original pioneer settlers' home. There was a hole in the floor accessing the upstairs only by way of a ladder.
Pretty neat house, isn't it? But you can imagine only this is as much as you live in. The original tiny house.
I think it'd be just me then. How many people do we know lived in, like,
Pardon?
have any idea how many people lived in that little house?
Well, the Pages had 8 daughters.
What? So you could possibly 10 people in those 2 rooms?
And of course it grew, the house would grow, and they'd start with porches. And you know, in those days you didn't have to go to the county to get all this permitting and so forth.
Yeah.
So you just, the family grew, the house grew. So these are the kind of things I want you to look for later when you're looking over your pictures and you think you might have something. The apparition under the bridge, sort of pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff, pretty cool stuff. So these are the things you'll be looking for as we go through the house. So let's go outside and see about the barn. And I'll leave all of these out. And when we come back in and have our free time to peruse the house, you're welcome to look all of this stuff. See, it's pretty creepy right there. So that bridge, I have a lot of friends when they go to the bridge, it's a creepy bridge.
That's cool.
And it is related to Star's Mill, so at the end of the tour we might share that story.
I like
so
creepy.
Let's go find the barn.
It's not a cough, it's gonna take just a few more Gather close to this cough.
It's not contagious.
I'm sure it's fine. Yes, ma'am, I seek medical attention. I saw the symbol on the door. The Mason symbol.
Well, yes, it's true. My husband is a doctor, and he does belong to the Masons. But if you seek medical attention, there's a much finer doctor up in Newton who works at the hospital. Perhaps you should go and see him.
I'm barely fit. And my friend in there is worse.
Oh, yes, I can hear him. Well, if you do need some help, my husband and I don't want to know who you're for. We don't know what side you're on, and I'd like to keep it that way. That could only bring trouble. We don't much support the war, but we are good Southerners and good Methodists, so we do try to help our fellow man as needed. I could go and ask my husband if we could indeed help you and your companion, if you so require.
That would be so kind. The conditions are terrible. It's cold. It's so cold. We barely have enough food to live. I haven't eaten in days. The shoes have worn off my feet. It's terrible. I beg of you. Please help. Anything you could do.
All right, yes, I'll go ask my husband and see what we can do. But don't bring any trouble, all right? You just stay here until I can return.
Thank you for your kindness.
That's what good Christian folk do, sir.
If you were a Freemason and you saw that apron on someone's home, you would stop and sure you'd take all their food, maybe a pig or two, but you wouldn't burn the house down. It is a known fact that although Sherman marched his way to the sea and burned a path to the sea, if you had a Freemason sign on your home, he would say, don't burn the house down. Take all their food, take everything they have, but don't burn the house down. So most of the North and the South knew if they saw that Freemason sign that there might be someone there to help. Now this poor soldier, we don't know if he's for the gray or the blue. The family still does not know. That's a mystery here at the Page House. They were very sickly, likely injured. Much of the information about these two young boys is sketchy at best. But they arrived here the beginning of October, and within a week, unfortunately, they both did pass away. Even though Dr. Page did his best. They buried the boys in their cemetery, which again was borderline questionable to do. They knew that they could have gotten in some trouble for doing it. But the women of the church believed that these boys, North or South, were someone's sons. And they believed that if their mothers ever came looking for them, they wanted them to be buried in a proper grave. And the boys are buried in the Tranquil Cemetery, just blocks from here. Look at Liz Page right here. Dr. G.H. Page. There it is, Dr. George Page. He took care of them and he placed these stones here. And we go there on one of my tours, so if anybody's interested in that, we'll do that together. They are buried in the Tranquil Cemetery. They lay buried beneath stones that the church had put together, and on the stones it still says, nursed as best they could by Dr. George Page, okay? Well, much later in about the 1960s, the church was doing a big project to clean up the cemetery. Now, I say it's a cemetery because now the church is gone. When it was constructed, it would have been a graveyard because there was a church there.
All right, you just stay here until I can return.
Thank you for your kindness.
That's what good Christian folks do, sir. All right, let's go on inside.
Well,
Back inside the Page house, we explore the stairwell, where from The Walking Dead, the ferals fought with the walkers. Then we'll sneak upstairs, where it's getting dark.
and here are some pictures from The Walking Dead. This is a room that now we have to switch gears for just a minute, and we get to talk about The Walking Dead. Yay! I love that. In The Walking Dead, in season 11, episode 6, a beloved character named Connie had been lost, presumed dead. Daryl and her were very close. Daryl was upset. He blamed Carol, yada, yada, yada. Well, in season 11, in this episode, we find out that Connie is alive. Yay! Connie's alive. Connie is with another character in the show, questionable character. His name is Virgil. They stumble upon this house. And when they enter the house, they realize they're not alone. Literally not alone. These are some pictures from the show here. You can see this direction here. Virgil comes down the stairwell. Connie sees him. She is desperate to tell him that they are not alone. That there are humans that during the apocalypse became feral. They were climbing the walls. They were basically wild animals eating whatever humans they crossed paths with. Well, excuse me just for a minute, to get her point across, of course, Connie is deaf. Connie is desperately trying to communicate the fact that there's someone in the walls. She has felt the vibrations. She can't hear and she can't speak, but she knows there's something. And she upstairs, now this was filmed at the set, the studio, not here, but we will go see a stair, a hallway, and a door. Don't worry, we'll get there from our Walking Dead fans. We'll get there. To desperately tell Virgil there's someone in the walls, she takes a knife and she carves into a picture on this wall, desperate to tell him, not alone. So, I just got goosebumps. That's kind of weird. Not alone. And on this wall was the picture. So if you go back, which, like I said, even if you're not a Walking Dead fan, go on Netflix, watch season 11, episode 6 after you've been here tonight, because you're going to want to watch this house on the show. She scratches into the wall, not alone. So this particular room is very important with your Walking Dead people. And we're going to walk this way. I want to talk to you about another woman who was born actually in this house and died in this house. Her name was Lenora Page. She was known as Aunt Nora. The reason I bring her up is Aunt Nora was sort of progressive in her time. She was born in the late 1800s, and she considered herself a spinster. She always said that, oh, well, the right man is worth waiting for, and I'm not done waiting. So she waited, and she passed away a single woman in this home at the age of 86. So she spent 86, yeah, I know. Didn't need a man. She was, like I said, very forward thinking. She also had a very deep and knowledge and memory of the Bible. So she was very intelligent. She was a keen wit and a keen mind, very much ahead of her time, stuck in the wrong time period, basically. But she lived and died for 86 years in this home. So if we're walking around trying to get a reaction out of our meters, asking if Aunt Nora is here might be a good call to try as we're walking around. Aunt Nora. Now, Aunt Nora was very beloved by the family, and when Mrs. Page and Dr. Page passed away, Aunt Nora was sort of the link that held the family together. Aunt Nora would actually take the younger folks in the family to the Tranquil Cemetery, and she would walk the cemetery showing everyone all of their decedents and their family relatives. So that was a really cool thing for Aunt Nora. So Lenora.
Nora, if you're here, come on out. Yes, we're on our way.
Yes,
on our way.
So some of the filming for The Walking Dead was indeed recreated over at the studio. But this particular hallway we're about to go down was used. So where are my Walking Dead fans? I want you to go first because I want you to get a picture of that door. When you get a picture of that door, you're going to go home. When you watch this show again, you're going to recognize Virgil going in this multicolored brown door.
Watch your head.
We were there. Watch your head as we go up the steps. Come on into the white room. I also point out this slightly creepy picture of little children.
It was donated.
It was donated. I thought it's kind of creepy because one of the people who lived and died in this house was Georgia Carolina Page. She was just 6 years old. A life cut short. Now, in those days, however, remember, we didn't have penicillin. We didn't know about things like that. We didn't know about infection. Nowadays, when you get a cut on your finger, you go scrub it with soap and water. Back in those days, not so much. So a little cut would get infected, and then it would make your finger swell, and your hand swell, and your arm swell. And hopefully the doctor chopped off your finger and cut that out, but maybe it was your hand, maybe it was your arm. But don't worry, amputation's not that bad. Amputation's not that bad. It's only excruciating for like 5 minutes. You pass out from the pain about a minute in, so you're okay. Don't worry about it. It's not that bad. But no. We are not. I know what you're thinking. Oh, I'll just take a shot of whiskey. You don't want to do that. That's a blood thinner. Let's think twice about this thing. But a simple amputation would usually be peeling the skin back to start, and then going at the bone with a nice saw. By this time, we hope you passed out from the pain. You cut that arm off. You take off the yucky infected arm, throw it out in the vegetable garden, preferably near the tomatoes. Never mind. And then you pull the flap of skin up over and catheterize it, basically like you're branding a cow. And that was a simple amputation. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. But like I said, in those days, we didn't have antibiotics. You could have died of strep throat. You could have died of a simple infection. And of course, we had a lot of disease. I always think about her when I see the picture. Aunt Nora, like I said, she lived and died in the house. Mrs. Page lived and died in this house. Mrs. Page wouldn't have been born here, of course, but she certainly did die in the house. The 2 soldiers died out by the barn. We know that. And then there's one more person who died in the house, but we'll tell that story at the very end of the tour when we wrap things up. So this is the white room. This is a cool room. There's a lot going on in here. And if you'd like to take a picture from the porch, 2 people at a time, please. Come on down.
You're having too much
Come
fun up
down.
there.
You guys are free to go up there in just a minute. Momentarily. So on The Walking Dead, they did dash down the stairwell. If you remember, step this way, my Walking Dead fans. If you remember, Connie comes to this door. This very door was on The Walking Dead. She comes to this door, and she is enticing the walkers in to fight the ferals. And this whole door in this scene, so when you go back and watch the show, same door, same. Connie touched this doorknob. Now, just recently, Greg Nicotero was asked about this convention, and he described the house as being an actor on its own. He loved this house, and he was given free rein to make that episode as horrific as he chose, and he's really into the horror, as you know. Is that everybody? Are my last 2 here?
No, there's some stragglers.
Hold the rails.
We remind folks to hold the rails in the stairwell, as we recall that Dr. George Page failed to hold the rail, tumbling down the steps, breaking his neck as he fell into the foyer. He died right here where we stand. Is that a spirit that lingers at the Page House? Indeed. Great evening at the Page House, closed with music and fellowship and some paranormal investigating. If you'd like to join us, contact Judy at the Page House, or if you'd like to take a tour, reach out to Georgia Location Scout. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.